Okay. All right, so I think I have a decent amount of shit here. Where to start? Let's show off a bass first. I don't think there's much here happening. Snap peep, ODT. My ODT for Snap peep is available on one of my patches. So if you need that in the splitter, it's on the highs. But that being said, I can just turn this off, keep that on, and here's this guy. So here we go. Pretty cool. Don't ask me why I did these the way I do, but so I have the thickness here depending on how much of a rate you want. And the vibrato, you should not use it constantly, but you can be like, even all the way is a bit much. In this guy, right here, the frequency filter. So, what's happening? So there's a lot of odd and evens, which is basically what it does is, I think down this way it squares it up, and this way is, maybe does the opposite, sines it. Like, it seems more of a sine, it's more square, right? Yeah, something like that. They're both in continuous, which if you pull down here, because the standard is all voices, and then if we go into matrix, yeah, so the vibrato here, macro 1, you can look, here we go. No, that's macro 1, 2, 3, macro 1. Ah, here it is, these two. So it's the main tuning of LFO4 here. We just make it go around, right? That's the vibrato. If you do it too much, it's going to be sounding really like shit. So you want to be very, very teeny about it. The effects, distortion on the highs, and then the EQ here. So you can take this, the whole point of this filter right here is to take out the, all the low frequencies of this so the sub can poke out. So if I pull out the, this guy, you'll watch, right? We can do it without the kicks. We can just do, right? And then if I brought it back in by it kind of boosts up and down. There's like some sort of phasing in it. And then, yeah, I think the other thing too is the way, so one of the things I've been working on a lot lately is like sort of how this kind of coincides with each other. So there'll be another Serum 2 where, say like this filter might go out to main, or this filter goes to filter 2 and the filter goes to the main. Oops. And it kind of changes the vibe. And the whole sort of process of like, again, the sub goes straight direct out. It's like, so it bypasses all this shit. All of this is gonna make a difference depending on which patch we have. But yeah, I mean, this is cool. You can also just turn off, is it filter 1? Actually, I forgot. Yeah, filter 1. So filter 1 is going into filter 2. Anyway, that's one of the batches. This batch has a couple of things going on. So, yeah, let's do it with the kicks, because the drums, because so it's like two LFOs going to that, right? And if you do these filters here, mess around with on and off, and have a disperser. So here, it sounds more muffled, roar, because roar is awesome. And then this is the parameters. Just look at the amount. Disperser here. And this filter 2 is basically a disperser, right? The diffuser. Right, you can turn it off. Not a bad sound. Did I save it? There you go. Got the name. How many fingers do I hold out? Phaser. That disperser thing's going on here. You can turn it off too. Or you can have this on too. The ladder filter, you can put it wherever you want. You can put it here. Maybe add more things coming from here, right? What I would do is I'd have actually this maybe a different LFO. You're gonna have like the same kind of slope. Maybe this one happens faster. Right? So you can be like. Maybe like do triplets. The other thing thing about this as well is this, this patch is kind of have the same thing that I just did, where this LFO comes to play. So you bring out the trip amount, it does the same thing. It's very discreet, but it's like dun 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 dun, right? Now, if you listen, it's do da do do da da do. Now, if we add this, right? Anyway, the original patch has it all the way up here with a different no LFO, but that's just the example. And then just a buzz, so thing. This is a sample. I think it's called the Resample. Yeah, Growl Chugga. So I didn't save this inside, so this won't be there, but this wavetable will be there. So you can I guess this is more of just an example of using that wavetable. Nothing really special, to be honest. Okay, now there's some racks, some cool racks I added. So these two are the same, but one is 5, the other is 7. You can see like squiggly lines. Now check this out. Is it this one? Sorry. Yeah, here we go. Let's lower the volume a bit, just because it's really loud. Okay, so there'll be a video where I kind of started first using this, and then I made a rack out of it, so it's more, you can just like move these dials and do the thing that you want it to do. So if I turn this one on, right, basically these guys, you can move it like this, and the scale is being messed with here, right? And then the frequency is location. So I basically just modulated it here individually, so oops, they move together. And then I duplicated that and did the same thing with just 2 extra over here with 7 versus 5. So this is what it sounds like, by the way, with it on. Oop. Here. So you can like automate this. You can also automate this. And you can automate both at the same time if you wish. So if we like take it out alpha, basically, let's put it in the right position. There we go. And then said, let's just map both. You can do the opposite. Yeah, go back. Whoops. obviously we're getting really into some bullshit here, but you know, it's kind of cool. There's a bass in what you'll find eventually. I have it saved, but this guy, for example, where I use that same idea. I think this one, not so much. That one I kept stagnant in like where it's at and just chose places. But like these are like format bases or like filters and shit like that, where like you can choose how much like resonance and shit like that there is. But I made it in Ableton, where you can choose the scale of how much you want to use and which direction you want to use it at and what frequency you want to use it at. And I mean, realistically speaking, like you can just take a snap heap with a filter that has a format filter and do the exact same thing. But you know, like if you don't have any of that, you know, Ableton, if you have Ableton, then this is a nice alternative. And it's also nice to like have like a visual different representation of what's going on. Okay. Oh, man, there's so much shit. This bass will be in for sure. So if I duplicate this bad boy, so these, by the way, are the same bass. Oops. So the main difference is wavetable, and this one's using a corpus, the other one's not. I made it a bit more complicated than I normally prefer, to be honest. It was really just to be more strict to this vibe and stuff. I think if I recreated this, I would probably separate these into 3 different bases or 4 different bases, and then have less modulation here. The reason being because whenever I write something, I don't want to go through this amount of automation lanes. I want 2 automation lanes typically. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, that's going to be in it. I guess there's not really much to really say about it. Oops, not that one. It has a bunch of effects, you know. There's a lot of filtering and stuff. Yeah, not too much to say. And then I have a growl. Maybe it's not in this one. Growl LFO. Yeah, okay. I guess I just didn't name it. Okay. It's actually a different project, so this one. Okay, where is growl? I just know what's in my mind. That's why. I have to cut all this shit. Oh yeah, okay. Ooh, a couple of these things. Yep. So this will be in there. This will also be in there. Fluke, right? That was in the last one. No, this was, oh, Spluke the full rack. I added this entirety with all this shit. Spluke is also in there. So this will be in there. Curious. Yoi? Did I have Yoi? I think that is an old preset I put in there. Yeah, it is. And then, so we had two growls. So this one. They're technically the same growl, but if I open these, right, they look the same. But if I go to the matrix, you see all of these are the macro 1 here. All of these are coming from LFO 1 and then have a bunch of modulation and stuff like that. So there's more steps, but should probably see that one. All sorts of shit you can do. And then this one, again, it's just everything's at macro 1. because obviously. I guess it's doing it anyway. Maybe that's the reason why it's all fucked. Well, anyway. Well, anyway, you can hear the difference. So, Mecker 1. Ah, there it is. There you go. So there's that. Everything else, I think, is just different pieces. Maybe I should save this so that the whole instrument rack can be played with. But anyway, let's see what else. Growl, macro, LFO, expand the sub, donk, pluck. Yeah, I mean, I think that's most of the things. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll have to edit this because it's very chaotic.
Yo, check it. I'm about to step up and wreck it. Hit you with the funk, the vibe I perfected.